I think that is saying that we as a church aren't willing to go to the hard and difficult places. And that's not part of a church that I want to be part of. I want to be part of a church that is willing to challenge themselves individually and as a community to be authentic and real with one another. Who's going to say the hard truths? To say, you know what? Sunday school is hard work. But our kids are incredible kids. And we need to have enough Sunday school teachers to make sure that they are equipped in faith. Are you willing to step up? Or our church is so committed to hospitality and welcome. But the committee that's in charge of doing coffee hours, the committee that works to make sure new member packets are put together and the website is up to date, well, it needs a good shot in the arm. And rather than just saying, I've got this and this and this and this in my kids' lives, and I've got this going on in my life, and things are hard right now, maybe in a year or two. What does it mean to say, I'll give it a shot. I'll do my best. Rather than pushing it off, we rally together and say we are going to be richly and deeply in community for the sake of all. This year I am very excited because Judy Madison and a team of others have created what is called the Generosity Team. The Generosity Team. Now, in many congregations, they might simply call it stewardship. And most of us would say, ew. Especially when it comes to asking wonderful volunteers to come and help with the stewardship team. Most of us would say, oh, and walk the other way. But now generosity. Generosity, that is another thing. And our theme is generous hands. And it is lodged in 1 Timothy, which you will hear about later this fall. But it's also lodged in this Roman text for today. In this letter that Paul writes to the community at Rome to say, owe no one anything except for love. To me, that sounds like a command to be generous. To be generous with your hands, to be generous with your hearts, for the sake of the community. To be authentically real. Giving of your very self, for the sake of who we are and who we might yet be becoming as a people of God in this place. To let love flow through you, shine through you. What a gift. I believe that love becomes also the lens through which we see this reconciliation. Love becomes this generosity lived out. When we say to our brothers and sisters that it is because I love you so much, and I care so deeply about our relationships, that I want to talk about this thing that really hurt my feelings. It is because we are brothers and sisters in Christ and living in love that I want to go out to coffee and sit and work through this thing that's been building up. You see, generosity comes through in the good times, when we are working on getting the new piano, and when we are working on the boiler. It comes through when we are working hard at living out our mission in urban arts and beginning our planning for the fall rummage sale. Generosity comes through when we are blessing the animals, inviting creation and all of its creatures into our sanctuary. Generosity. And generosity comes through when we are willing to put ourselves out there in the hard things. To be real, loving, and caring. That becomes a witness. And as we come together this day, I want to point out that we are dwelling with a text that is the most misquoted or misused by pastors and congregation members alike. on this idea of wherever 2 or 3 are gathered, I am in their midst. You see, pastors and congregations always put that in the context of worship. That wherever 2 or 3 are gathered, we can worship, right? Where we can pray. This text has nothing to do with worship. This text is about reconciliation and renewal. What does it mean to hear these words from Jesus that say, wherever 2 or 3 are gathered, I am there in their midst? Not about praise up here, but about reconciliation and living in new ways, rooted in love with one another. For me, that changes the lens through which I look at that text, and invites me to a deeper and fuller understanding of what it means to be community. For that, I give great thanks. And so as we rally this day, as you look at the people around you, those who have been here forever, since God was a child, and for those who walked in the door this morning, looking for that place that they might know as home, a place in which they might bear their hearts and their souls, I invite you to get to know them, or get to know them again, and be authentic, living out of this place of love and out of the spirit of generosity, to say, you are my brothers and sisters, and that I celebrate. Thanks be to God. Amen. Amen.